Okay, it's time to go live.
Ready to embrace the magical side of life, where anything is possible and the infinite is accessible to all? Let's have a conscious conversation about what's going on in the world, in your life, and your relationship from the expanded perspective of your soul. The path to awareness begins and ends in the heart. So let's take it there, one step at a time, and learn to cultivate magic in your life every single day. In each episode, we share a collective space in which we discover the unique facets of our own magic and embody our superhuman qualities by humbly exploring how it's super simply to be human. Hosts Kai and Dell co-create a magical experience to remind you that you are magical as fuck. Now, be unleashed. This is our daily magic.
Don't forget about that. And we are live.
Yes, we are.
At a special time. I mean, all the times are special.
True. Very true.
It's pretty cool to be kicking it with a magical being at a different time. So, welcome to Our Daily Magic. This is our magical podcast in which we have magical conversations that whoever listening to this get to see the potentiality of what is possible when you actually unleash your unique magic. Our goal for every episode that we do and everything that we do for this group is to help individuals to find unique facets to be able to cultivate more of their own unique magic in their lives. I am one half of the amazing Voltron force of this. My name is Dell, and
I'm Kai, and I have the pleasure of introducing Skye. Skye Marinda is a tarot coach in Washington, D.C., and she has had the honor of giving over 400 tarot readings and leading spiritual workshops to over 100 people from all around the world.
sheesh.
Right? Combining spiritual and practical insights, Skye believes that tarot has the power to deepen your perspective so that you can take the next steps towards the future you want. Welcome, Skye.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Origin story?
Of course. I'm still just processing over 400 people read and the workshops, but then also doing tarot in DC. So there's a lot of stuff to definitely want to ask about. But let's get into the nitty gritty, the origin story of how you were able to discover your own magic and led you to doing what you're doing now. So the floor is yours. Feel free to start wherever you feel the need to start, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so, okay, I always get the date wrong, but I think in 2016, I was just planning on going to Salem for Halloween with my best friend and just have fun and do like kitschy stuff and touristy stuff. And I was looking into stuff we could do because I love planning. I was like, let me make an itinerary. And there was all of these like actual rituals you could go to. And I was like, what? Like, I really was surprised. I thought it was just like not real witchcraft going on there. And it came at the perfect time though, actually, because like a month later, I was like really low, like got super depressed. Kind of, it feels like out of nowhere, but it was like drinking alcohol and drinking coffee was like all I was doing. And my friend had sat me down and been like, here's a tarot deck. Like, I've been doing this for 16 years. Let me like get you started. And the combination of like learning tarot and like meditating every day, learning stuff about like witchy things, it made me reorient my way of thinking. And I was like, oh, like I deserve to take care of myself. I'm going to start like sleeping again and like eating a good amount again. And like, yeah, it was kind of crazy how it just like flipped that narrative, just totally like flipped things for me.
Mm, mm. I looked at her because it seemed like she looked like she's about to say something, but yeah. So, first question I have for that: what was the tarot deck that you got?
It was a mini version of the Smith Rider Waite.
Nice.
So yeah, it's cute. I actually can't find it now. It's so many. I'm like looking around. I'm like, where did this deck go? But I will find it one day.
So, when you first got the deck from your friend, did you do the reading for yourself, or did she do a reading for you?
um, yeah, he had me pull cards, and then he was just like, "What does it say?" He was like, "Read it," and I was just like, I don't know." And he's like, "No, just look at it, figure it out." It was very fun, and so I was just like went with it. He was like, "Pretty good, pretty good." So that was kind of how I first started. Was just very intuitive, not really like looking at books. But since then, I have like looked at other people's books and thoughts about it, and kind of combined my ideas with other people's along the way.
Mm.
Yeah.
Did you? Was this like your first experience, like in this realm of like the tarot and things like that, and spirituality in this aspect? Were you doing anything before this, or was this like the first experience that you had?
Yeah, I grew up in a really conservative like church, and I've made some TikToks and reels about it, so you might know that already.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, audience, watch her TikTok.
Yes.
Freaking hilarious.
um,
Hilarious.
Thank you. But yeah, so then I took like a break after that because I left or stopped going around like 15, 16, and then I took like what I call like a 8-year atheist break. Not like, and I don't mean to say that to be like, oh, all atheism is a phase, but for me it was like a phase, I guess. And yeah, so then after that I just started. He was the one actually too who said like, oh, there's lots of different like witchcraft traditions, so you should like look around and see which ones you like. And that really helped me find community around me and even not around me.
Hmm. Now I have to ask, what led you to step out of the church and go on the atheist path?
I've thought about it a lot, so I definitely have an answer. But it was, I would say, like three main reasons. Like the
Mhm.
first one, I was looking around and I was just like, this seems so unfair to that like only Christians are going to heaven. Like that does not compute with me. There's so many people, there's so many religions. Like I just don't, it doesn't make any sense to me. Especially in my context where like our church was like only people who are this specific denomination are right and going to heaven. I was like, that's so few people. Like how? Um and then like the one I grew up into, women weren't allowed to do anything like at all basically. They were only allowed to watch kids in the nursery and maybe teach like young kids during Sunday school. And I was just like, I'm too stubborn and sassy for that kind of life. I was like, no, this is not something that I can do. Um, I said 3 reasons. I don't know. I think the third one was just like, I don't know, the story isn't adding up to me.
Yeah, that's a good reason, and
Yeah.
totally resonate with you. And then one of our audience members, Allison, definitely can relate to that journey as well. And the religious aspects of it, like you say, and like the whole inclusion type of thing. Like it's just us. We're better than everybody else. Everybody else is going to burn, and but for you not to burn, you gotta. This is what you gotta do. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And for me, it reminded me of just being told by a parent about that. Like if ands or buts about it. This is what it is. If you don't do this, you're gonna get a whooping. But in the context of religion, you're gonna get a whooping for eternity if you don't obey and listen. That's a perfect analogy. As this is coming out, I'm like, whoa, that's a good one.
No, yeah, for sure. And it's funny because my mom, I don't think she'll mind me saying this, but she's always like jokes with me. She's like, yeah, I'm probably going to hell. Like, I'm probably missing the mark, but it's fine. And I'm like, what? No. I'm like, no, you're not. You're fine.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing too. And I've been learning more from a Franciscan teacher, Richard Rohr, who's amazing because he's more about the contemplative, but realizing
Mhm.
there's both things. Meaning, like for religion, there's such a benefit of it, of the prayers and the devotion and that type of thing. But then on the other side of it's like the Buddhists and that type of practice, more actions with it, more contemplation as well, more embodiment, the teachings and learning and doing it both together. And I resonate with that because they both have like uh, a part in it, but then there's some stuff in between in both of them that like needs to get taken out. But they're both are very beneficial, and that's what I definitely resonate with you. And I'm with Kai too. You grew up sort of religious wise as well, right? As a kid, went to Catholic school.
I went to Catholic school. I went to Baptist church. I've been in a Buddhist monastery. Seen it all. Seen it all. It's an eclectic upbringing, which I love because I had choice.
Did you
Yeah, that's cool.
Did I?
did you really have choice?
Did I choose to be eclectic? Oh, that's another conversation for another day. Destiny versus free will.
Oh god.
Speaking of which, I'd love to ask when you're working with the cards, like what kinds of readings do you tend to give? Like what kind of people also do you tend to attract?
I actually do attract a lot of people who also come from like a religious or like Christian background because they're like, oh my gosh, like you get me. I'm like, yep. But then also, I think a lot of people who are early 20s or college and they're trying to figure out like, what do I do with my life? Um, am I in the right major? What do I need to do now that I'm graduating? Do I really have to work a 9 to 5 job for the rest of my life? Should I go to grad school? So it's a lot of like those kinds of questions about what to do with your life.
Has anybody told you to reshuffle when you give them the truth from the tarot card?
I had like one person get mad once, but I mean, no, it is what it is.
I saw this meme, and what the meme said? Oh, somebody was getting a relationship reading, so they had a meme of her getting a relationship reading of like pretty much of why is her boyfriend so toxic? So then the tarot reader gave her a card and said, he's not toxic, you are. That's what the card said. And then she
Oh
was like,
no.
and then that the response was she's like, no, 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 reshuffle them. Something ain't right. Reshuffle them again. But it reminded me, like, for myself, when I had experience with tarot, and like for me, I'll get tarot readings and like moments. So like after a breakup. So what I would do is until I get the answer I wanted to hear, I would keep just getting different tarot to read me and read me and read me over and over and over and over again. And a lot of times it'd be the same answer in a different way. But then when that one person would tell me something that I wanted to hear, then it wasn't the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to more avoid doing any hard predictions because I kind of was like, does this actually help people? Like, if they think that something's definitely not going to work out for them, are they just not even going to try? Like, I don't want to discourage people from like pursuing their dreams. But now I've started to discover that sometimes if it does say no, it you can keep pulling cards and it'll give the story about like why things are more complicated than it seems right now, and that can kind of start to give the direction of like I had one person, they just wanted to do a whole bunch of stuff at once, and I was just like, it seems like you got to choose here. Like, you can't start a business, go to grad school, like I don't know, there's just like that's a lot to take on. Like, businesses, or there's like most businesses fail or don't make money within the first 5 years. I'm like, I don't know if you can do grad school and start a business. So, um, so yeah, so sometimes, so that kind of helped me if I do have to give like a, I don't know about this scenario. It's like, okay, well, why? Like, is what's the full story here?
Mm.
Yeah. By the way, Mela says it's nice to actually see Skye. I've only talked to her via audio.
Oh, you
Hey,
got a
Bella.
fan.
I was on Mella's podcast.
Yes,
Oh,
girl
Yeah.
looking candles.
Yes. Go listen to that one too.
so I got a curious question for both of you guys because Kai also does readings too. So my question, and I want to hear from both of you guys, is do you feel when someone comes for a reading for you guys that what you're telling them is accurate based upon the actions and choices and thoughts and everything else they have done up to this moment? But it's sort of like a butterfly effect, meaning like this is trajectory of what you're doing now and what's leading to, but you can always be able to shift into another trajectory. So I wanted to hear both of you guys' thoughts on this because it was just something I was pondering.
Do you want to go first?
No. You're the guest. You first.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I tend to structure my readings so they're more of like, what can you do to like fix or create what you really want? Like, what's going to help versus what your current actions are going towards. I think a lot of, well, I don't know. I'm thinking like a lot of people maybe know what they're doing isn't working, and that's why they came for a reading. So, but maybe not. And so I don't know. I kind of don't even think about that aspect of like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the question again?
I was saying when someone comes to you in the moment to get read, do you feel that the reading that you're showing is accurate based upon their steps and actions and stuff they did leading up to the moment of them coming with you? So with them continuing to do things the way they're doing,
Yeah.
the cards are showing like this is where you're going to go to, but can they be able to make a shift in which that current reading is something different?
Got it. So there's two things about that. One is that when I read, I use a lot of like different superpowers. So when I sit in front of the cards, I'm also feeling the person. So I use that to kind of like lead them in this conversation of self discovery. So that way, it's not me talking about their future, but it's me asking questions and getting that, like live emotional feedback about what it is that they actually want to create and the direction that they actually want to go into. And the cards can help with that a little bit. And I love the example that we talked about before. It's like on the Matrix when Neo goes to see the Oracle. She's like looked at his hands, and she's like, "Sorry, kid, you're not the one." And like at the same time, it was accurate because he wasn't really embodying that aspect of himself. And at the same time, someone could look at that and say, like, oh, well, she was wrong. It's like, well, what did he need to hear in order to manifest what it is that he actually wanted, what it is that was there for him? So there's a lot about that, and that was a pretty cool question to explore.
Yeah, thank you. And I have
Yeah.
another one
No.
because the topic with Skye is about creating your future.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, has someone come to you who are looking to create their future, but really they don't know what they actually want to create in the future?
Oh yeah. Oh, go ahead. No, the the question's not done.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's like question 1A. And then
Okay.
1B, how can someone who doesn't know what they want to create in their future be able to discover that? Like, okay, here's exactly what I truly want from the depths of my soul to create for my future. Because like a lot of times for the future, we may like have little tangible things like, oh yeah, I want to get this car, house, relationship, all these other stuff, but like that soul future creation. So how can someone be able to like discover that?
Yeah, I do pull one card that is like, what do you want? Sometimes it can be more short term. Sometimes it could apply for like their whole life. Um, but that can kind of give direction because it might be like what you want is to feel free, like to feel free with your job, to feel free in your career. Or maybe what you want is to like embody like leadership in your community. And so like that can look a lot of different ways. Like, I can't be like, go apply to this job. Like, here's the link or not the LinkedIn,
Can you
maybe the
imagine?
LinkedIn, here's the whatever. Like
Can you imagine that? I'm like, yo, like, you'd be like a quadrillionaire. Like, here, do this. You're gonna get it. Let them know Skye sent you.
exactly. Like I've got connections there. Um so yeah, and so like, when you orient things to like, oh, what is like that is what's really important to me is freedom or like being a leader in my community, then you can start to like think about, okay, how could I actually do that? Or what's a way for me to start doing that?
Mm, I like that.
Yeah, I like that you like kind of give that nudge for action.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I like that.
I also love that in your bio that you're positioning yourself as a tarot coach. How do you distinguish that between the normal everyday tarot reader?
Yeah, so I distinguish it because my readings are focused on like what actions they can be taking, like we were just talking about, or um, advice. Like I know some people have commented on my videos and they're like, "Oh, it's not you giving the advice, it's the cards." And I'm like, I could see how some people might feel that way, but I think it's also like disingenuous to be like, "Oh yeah, it's purely the cards." Like my bias or my ideas are not influencing the reading at all. So like that's how I distinguish coach. I think that maybe a psychic or more traditional reader or just someone who thinks of themselves as a reader, they might be more working with like spirit guides or ancestors or, psychic stuff. And that's not that's not so much like what I do.
Got it. Got it. So, how do people know that it's time like to work with you? Being that you're a little bit different than most people who are out there with tarot services. Like, what's that one like thing that like, oh, time to go see Skye?
I think it's when people feel like indecisive, like they can't figure out what they should do, or if they feel like stuck. Like it's kind of the same thing of like not knowing what you should do, but maybe then it's not even like a decision. It's just like, I don't even know, like nothing's happening. How do I get unstuck? So, yeah. Or you can just do it for fun. It's not super serious all the time. I love to like laugh in readings. So, if you just want to try it out.
A laugh, cards, and a chuckle.
Yeah, I think it's a Libra thing. Like we like laughing. We can't help it.
Got it. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. It's Monday.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice.
Yeah. Mm.
Did you just turn infinite?
Exactly. I'm finishing up my Saturn return, so that's a little more of a clue.
Got it. Got it. Another question. How do you feel about like this time of year? With Halloween coming around, does that like mean anything to you?
I mean, I love Halloween still from like a purely Halloween point of view. Like I can just have fun and be like spooky season. Um, and it's a fun time of year because people are more like, oh, I should do something magical. Like I should get into it. So it can be fun for that because lots of people suddenly want to like go get a reading or go to a seance. I don't do seances, but I would totally go to one too. And personally, like spiritually, it's funny because like if you look at the like Sabbats, right? Like if you celebrate those Wheel of the Year holidays where like Samhain is coming up, that's the one that I haven't like super had a personal connection with. I feel like I always miss the community rituals during Samhain. So I don't have a big connection to this time of year. I don't know if it's different for you.
Well, thank you for saying it because I didn't even know how to pronounce it. So now that is resolved.
What word?
Hmm?
What word?
Samhain.
What is it?
Yeah, so if you like, I guess in more like Wicca or witchcraft, there are, oh no, now I'm afraid I'm gonna get the number wrong, but I think it's 8 holidays that go around the year. And Samhain is the one that is on Halloween. And that one is typically like associated with ancestors and connecting to ancestors. And I just personally I don't have a lot of experience with that kind of practice yet. So, but some people do what's called a dumb supper, where oh yeah, someone also is explaining in the comments, but where they
Oh,
like sit and eat in silence and kind of like allow spirits in to come eat with them. So that can be cool.
What is it? The last bite of your burger?
oh my
You
God.
got to
What?
share. You got to be willing to share.
So I'm thirsty. Oh, what happened to the rest of my drink?
Gone. By the way, Peter says, Happy birthday, Skye. The word Skye is Scottish, and in Scotland there's an island, the Isle of Skye, where Cairn Terriers are from. Ah, that's cool. Sweet. And thank you, Mela, for chiming in. Still learning over here.
Oh,
Go ahead. You first.
yeah. I'd ask this. So, Skye Marinda, that's your original name?
Yeah, it's my first and middle name.
What?
That's
You're destined to be a mystic. I was wondering. I'm like, is this her tarot name, or like is this her real name? But it's both.
Yeah, it's funny because like my parents, like I was saying, like especially my dad really named me, and like yeah, he's the one who's like conservative Christian, but he gave me a cool name. So like, good job.
Yeah, I feel like even through that, through the conservatism, he's still playing his part for you, for your own expansion. So even through that, look what got created from that.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I think he's like getting a little more open to like it's yeah. So we have a good relationship. I don't mean to like put him down or anything.
No. Oh no, I hear you. And I had the same experience with a parent conservative, but I truly understand where you're coming from now. Before, it would be very, very triggering. Of that combating to being told this, and I know it's not true. Like, no, it's not true for me and this stuff. So it would be like a combative thing. But now I realize it and honored like just how much love that my parent has for me. I mean, like, yeah, man, it's like if you truly believe, like, if you do this thing, you're gonna burn for eternity, and you're not doing having those conversations, try to save people, then I'm like, something's not right. But like, I honor how much you love me for like trying to protect my soul, but like, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Peter asks, are you Scottish?
I mean, so my dad says we are, but like so far, but I don't know. I don't know actually.
Great response. Great response.
So,
yeah.
tarot reading in DC. I'd like to learn more about that. How's it go down there? Is there?
Yeah, I mean, I did an event at a bar in DC. It was like right before COVID happened in February 2020. And that was the first time I actually started reading for other people,
Oh,
Nice.
other than just like close friends. And yeah, I set up this event at a bar because I was trying to raise money for this community arts project that I was also trying to organize. And I was like, oh, shoot, how are we going to buy art supplies? Like, art supplies are expensive. And my spouse was like, just like set up at a bar and like do tarot readings. And I was like, no. But first, I was like, no, no, no. But then it's like, actually, people might be really nice because it's like for charity, right? Like, how are they going to be mean to me? And then I discovered like I really loved doing it and it was really fun. So yeah, you would think that like people would walk in and I would just be like, hey, like we're doing tarot readings over here if you're interested. And like one person got super excited. Like, and there's a people, and like DC is known for being more like professional, like not as like creative. Like, it's not like you don't think of like a hippie town or anything. So yeah, so these people looked like DC, like professional, and this guy was like, like I want to get dream interpretation. Like my friend will totally get a reading, and he like ran over. So it can be cool here because maybe there's less people who are like inclined in that way, or people maybe are just less open about it. So they get really excited when you set up shop.
Nice.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Should give a tarot reading to the White House.
That would be so funny.
Wow. Also curious, you know how you see like on YouTube, there's people that read for different zodiac signs and stuff like that, or they'll do like pick a card or something like that. Are your readings like strictly like okay 1-to-1, you know, and this is how it's going down, or do you have different styles that you like to incorporate when you're working with different groups?
I typically have like a about 6 card spread because I normally pull like more along the way because I'm like, ooh, let's dig into this more. But yeah, I stick to a 6 card spread that I've designed. Um,
Ooh. Your face light up.
and then I create spreads for like the full moon and the new moon, which this reminds me, I feel like the new moon is coming up really soon. And yeah, and so those can be fun because I'll look at like what's going on astrologically, you know, look at what astrologers are saying and what I know about the signs and design a spread normally a simple 3 card spread because we're all tired at the end of the day. But if you want to like observe the new moon or the full moon that way.
Got it. Got it. Okay, now we gotta talk about design. Can you tell us about this these cards that you've designed, please?
Yeah, well, I didn't design the cards, just the like spread. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I
Uh,
would love to.
and
That's like a
spreads.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a 1 day thing. It's like designing my own tarot deck. That'd be cool.
Oh, well, maybe we'll have that conversation sometime. Sweet. If you were to design a deck, like what tickles your fancy? What are the kinds of things that you've seen out there, maybe in other decks that you like, or that you'd like to create for yourself?
Yeah, I tend to like decks that are pretty like illustrative, if that makes sense. Like they have human figures who are like acting out scenes because I went to art school and I can like look at a picture and be like, okay, this is like the story it's trying to tell. So the minimalist decks like vibe less with me because I just look at them and I'm like, where's the story? I don't know. That's for me. I know other people love minimalist decks. And so yeah, so I like decks that I don't know. It's like it can go either way. It's like really dark colors or really bright colors. Like they're both fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So you would have like a pretty rockin', eclectic, like staged performance storytelling deck.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. And like with some like heretical stuff in there too. Like I love to, I love heresy. So I gotta like weave that in a little bit.
Nice. And I could go out on a limb and say maybe you'd incorporate some humor because your TikToks are funny. Awesome. Oh, by the way, Peter says where in DC?
It was what's the new name? They changed the name of this bar and now I'm trying to remember what it's called. But it's in Petworth and it used to be called Colony Club and I don't remember what they changed the name to. But I think if you Google it, it will come up.
Awesome. Awesome. And shameless plug, deckdesigninabox.com for anyone who's interested in designing a deck.
Oh,
It's easier than you think.
cool.
Um, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, she got a unicorn deck.
That makes sense.
Wow. So, are your cards in your hand every single day?
um, Maybe not every single day. Yeah, I definitely take breaks.
Yeah. And what about for yourself? Are you the kind of person who will just like whip them out when you need to know something, or is it like there's a time and a place for that?
No, I'm like similar to anybody else when I'm like trying to make a decision or I'm like anxious about something. That's when I'll pull them out. I do have like a separate deck that I don't use when I give readings to other people. So it's a little bit more like exciting because I get to use this deck that I never use. It kind of keeps it like work-life balance, I guess.
Makes sense. And how do you feel about other people touching them?
I don't worry about it. I'm not very like um, I don't know what the word is, like worried about other people's energy so much. I'm like, if it gets on it, you can just cleanse it away.
Got it. Got it. Okay. And I'd love to ask if there is a story that stands out in your mind that was just like mind blowing. When it comes to all the amazing things that you do and the experiences that you have. Um, I see you nodding. I'm just gonna listen.
Thinking about like the best ones, I think like one that sticks out a lot to me for some reason is when someone came to me who has a pretty big Instagram following And I thought from the outside, like, oh, wow, like they're living the dream. They have this like platform. Um, cool. And then they came to me and like all the cards were saying like that they're burnt out. They're not really enjoying their work anymore. They're like trying to figure out what to do. And they were like, oh my God, yes. Like, I'm so tired of doing this. Like, it's not fun at all anymore. I don't enjoy it. And um, I just want to take a break. I just want to stop doing it. And I was like, yeah, do it. Like, the cards are validating you that, yes, you're exhausted. You can step away. Um, so that one was one that just stuck with me, I think, because it surprised me so much. I was thinking the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Made him not being burnt out for having all the followers.
I don't know. I just thought like, wow, it's cool. They have like this online business that's doing well. Like their account is so fun. But yeah, but on the other side, it was just like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
It's interesting too for on that end of like seeing people like let's say the people with a lot of followers, the big business, or even like the celebrities and things like that. And then what we can potentially forget about them because like oh they're these celebrities or whatever, they got all this money, all that stuff going on, is they're still human that have their own emotions. And especially with social media, a lot of times we can put on a facade and going through like the deepest stuff because there'd be a lot of Instagram models who like seem like they're having the perfect life, and then next you know, some of them just like kill themselves or other stuff going on because of depression and things like that. So it's like having a conversation with them, like for you having a conversation with an influencer like that, you get to see that oh wow, like even like all these external things that are going for you, internally you're going through some stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, I think there was a TikTok I saw once where it was, I wish I saved it, but this guy said sometimes success is scarier, feels worse than failure. And I was thinking about that today, and I think about it all the time because, like, even these people who might seem really successful, they're still going through it. Everyone's going through it to some degree.
Oh yeah, different levels and shades of the inner suffering.
Yeah. So we started talking about like your community too. What does that look like? I mean, especially nowadays where a lot of our stuff is, digital. How are you supported in what you do in your area?
Yeah, the tradition that I have the most experience with is called the reclaiming tradition. And they have these camps where people go for a week and we have like rituals every night. It's really cool. But obviously, we haven't had those for 2 years. So they've been doing some stuff online. But for sure, like, I think it's still good to do rituals online, but it is like very hard to not get distracted by your phone or be like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. Like maybe I'll sneak off and get a snack. Like
Yeah,
in
I saw this.
person. Oh, go ahead.
You go ahead. I want you
Oh,
to.
I was gonna say in person, it's like you're just in it. You're not gonna look at your phone.
Yeah, I was about to add to that because I just saw a meetup because I got a meetup invite for somebody who's having an online fire ceremony. I'm like, what? Like, I feel like it's better to be in person for the fire ceremony than to like watch it on my Zoom or something of a fire going on. I mean, I give the kudos for it, but I feel like the being in the space, like Skye was just mentioning, is just so much more powerful to be in that circle together.
That's like the Yule log. It just comes
Yes.
on TV and you just watch it.
I was thinking the same thing. It made me think of the Yule log.
Log.
And also, how has our transitions digitally? How have that affected your business?
Yeah, well, I only did the one event and at that bar, and I was like, "Oh, this is so fun! I'm gonna keep doing this." And then it was like, "Oh, COVID." So I've mostly been doing it online, and it's been fine. Like doing readings over Zoom, I find is just as effective. And it's cool because that's kind of how I've been able to connect with people from like Brazil and Nigeria. Where else? I'm forgetting countries' names right now, but all over.
Wow. You're worldwide.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of crazy.
Have people reached out to you from your TikTok videos?
Yeah, a lot of people find me through that way, and so that's where it's like I'm in Ireland, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Nice. Got it. Got it. So, would you say that your business is, actually expanded based on this experience?
Yeah, I think like a lot of people, I had more time at home too. So I was like, oh, let me make TikToks. And I used to stream on Twitch and give readings that way, which was really cool
Mhm.
because I got to do like 15 a night or 20 a night. And it really like upped my experience in reading for other people quickly. So definitely online, there's a good opportunity for that where you can just like get practice.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, like, you have all of this success now. I mean, over 400 people. That's really amazing. And I didn't even look at your social numbers. Like, I can only imagine what that's like. But if I were to ask you, like, what's next for you, what would you
Oh,
say?
well. Tomorrow I am going to like put out my first YouTube video, so I'm excited about that.
Okay.
And I'm launching like a Patreon so that I can keep making free content because I think that's like the coolest way to connect with people.
Mhm.
Yep. And like teach about cards and like how to read them in certain contexts and stuff like that.
Got it. Got it. And is your channel the same as your name?
Yep.
Okay, everybody's got the little nudge here. Something's going down tomorrow. Pay attention. YouTube, Skye Marinda. That's really cool. That's really cool. And I gotta ask too, like, do you have help? Like, are there people behind the scenes that we don't see that's helping you? Or are you a one woman shop?
Yeah, I'm one woman shop.
Wow.
Mm. Mm. The Jane of all trades.
Yeah.
Yeah, art school, people say it doesn't do anything for you. You learn skills.
Mm.
That's a magical bomb.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your solopreneurship and all of your success. Like, this is super huge.
Oh, thank you. It's funny because I'm like, I don't know. I'm always just like, I don't know. Am I doing enough? So I like have that too, which is funny. I think it's the Aries rising.
Some people call it imposter syndrome. I think it comes up for all of us, at one point in time. And it's like, how do you relate to it? You know?
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
Oh no. Guy. I just said relate to it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like have to. I think that's why, I mean, also in tarot reading and just maybe spirituality in general, because like right before I give anyone a reading, like there's that voice that's like, you can't do this, you're gonna mess it
Mhm.
up. And I think that's why like shuffling is so awesome. Even though it's simple, you're just like shuffling cards because it gives me time where I like actually like focus and I'm like, ignore that voice and be like, no, like this is gonna go really well. Like they're gonna get the message they need and like create that intention for the reading. And you just get like practice with that of just being like, shh, be quiet.
Hmm. Every deck I'm shuffling.
Viral, instantly viral.
Yes. Man with cat shirt.
Yes. Goes viral. Wow. Oh, and question. If you were to give like a couple of pieces of advice for anyone who's just starting out, or even your younger self, what would you say, now that you've been on this journey for a while, now that you've kind of seen some things, what would you say to a younger you or someone who's just getting started?
Yeah, if you're just getting started in terms of like tarot, I would say to kind of like I was talking about earlier, where you just look at the cards and see what you really get from them, and then you look at what other voices, other people have said about them, and kind of compare and see like if you missed anything or if you really nailed it or if there's extra things you want to add in. I think that's a cool way to like combine knowledge and still keep your intuition like high up on the importance scale. And then in terms of like if you want to like create content online, I mean, you just kind of got to do it. It's like super scary. Like I've definitely, I don't know, was like the shy person most of the time. Like, so it's not like something that comes naturally, even though I like tried out for the school play every year. In elementary school, I only got in once to be like a background duckling. So I'm not like the big.
Aw.
I know. I mean, it's kind of cute, but I only had one line. It was the ugly duckling. I was one of the ducklings. But yeah, and so just like putting yourself out there before you're ready, and that could be like in anything in life. Like, yeah, don't listen to the inner perfectionist.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like if you always wait until you're fully ready to do something, you're going to just keep waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Wow.
So that was like for you, for your TikTok, you're just like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then you just went.
Yeah, and it took me a while to figure out like how to make good ones. Like the first ones didn't do that well, and I felt so awkward doing them and so self-conscious. And then like you just learn as you go.
Learning by doing.
Yeah.
Got it. So you mean to tell me that there was no secret formula that you signed up for a webinar for, and that gave you the answer to how you could succeed?
The
Unfortunately.
Was it to attract high ticket clients?
Right. So your evolution came from you being in it and just doing it.
Yeah.
That's really valuable. That's really valuable. I mean, like in terms of anything and everything.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I think that's what a lot of I don't know, I'm thinking about readings too. Like a lot of people want to get readings like, does this person feel the same way about me, or are they into me? And I tend to just try and hype them up and be like, go ask them out, like find out.
Nice.
See, that's the next level coaching
Uh-huh.
with the deck. Because normally, what somebody would do is pull the card and like say something like, you guys are meant to be in the solar line stars and universe type of thing. And then like you're like, yo, you like them? Shoot your shot. I like that.
Yeah.
Actually, I love that.
Yeah, even if it's like they say no, and that will really suck, but I don't know. I've actually never asked somebody out, and now I'm married and I can't. And I really regret like never having that experience where I had to be courageous like that.
Mm.
You can still be courageous.
In other ways, but not in terms of romantically. I think they'd be a little upset about that.
Right. Well, I mean, you're doing it with your social, you're doing it with your business. Like that's huge.
That is courageous.
Oh,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Good point out.
Hey. Speaking of which, like, where are all of the places that people can find you?
Yeah, I'm mostly on Instagram and TikTok, my name dot tarot, and also on YouTube. And my website is my name. So yeah.
That's what we call consistent branding. Go
Right.
you.
Right.
Snatch up those usernames. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Check it out. YouTube launch tomorrow. You got another question, sir?
Mm, yeah. One question. Question one is, do you have your deck available right now?
Yep. It's right here.
What?
Question two, because I didn't even know how quickly the time went. So I was like, I wanted to do the mini readings for our guests, but or for our audience, but let's do a universal one. Could you
Okay.
pull a universal reading for everyone here presently to get a message?
Yes. Totally. You can play the elevator music while I shuffle.
Yay!
Yes, yes, yes. I've been waiting for this. Everyone, please hold.
That's the good stuff. Okay. So I pulled 3 cards. So we have the Six of Wands reversed, the Death card reversed. I can't do a camera right now. And the Five of Cups reversed. So, like, all reversed doesn't mean anything bad. So, with the Six of Wands reversed, when this card is upwards, I think of the Six of Wands as going in confidently, having like a sense of boldness. And so, since it's reversed, it would just say that maybe right now people are feeling a little bit more reserved. Like they're not like, this is a good time for taking risks. It's like more like, I need to be careful. I need to like hold back. Um, and with the Five of Cups reversed, I think part of the reason for this is that there's been like a lot of, I don't know, maybe financial partly, but just like a lot of loss within the past year. The Five of Cups is about how, there's 3 cups spilled out and there's 2 cups still here. And so it's acknowledging that what you lost is bigger than what you still have potentially, right? But how this can help is the Five of Cups reorients you to look at how you can use what you still have. Like, what's a resourceful, what's a creative way that you can use what's still there? So, when you look at that and the Death card reversed, the Death card is transformation. But it's not like a comfy transformation. Maybe transformation is never comfy, like a snake shedding its skin. I feel like that's got to be painful. um, so, like if you could just get rid of this thing that's not serving you anymore, that the Death card is referring to, you would have just done it. It wouldn't have to be this whole transformation. So, what to think about when we're thinking about the Death card is what you can be clearing away so there's actually space for something new. And so that might partly be looking back at the Five of Cups. And, it's not like you have to let go of sorrow or pretend it doesn't exist, but there might be a new focus to shift to in terms of what's next for me. Because death is about rebirth too. So it's kind of like, who do I want to be now that I've gone through these experiences that aren't great? Well, who do I want to be in the future, and what's next for me? I kind of said that already, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I mean, it is timely in terms of like Halloween coming up. If you do celebrate like Samhain, some people think of it as the new year for like witchy people. So you could be thinking about like, who do I want to be this year? How do I want to reinvent myself? Yeah.
Nice.
That was great.
Yeah.
Thank you. That
Yeah,
was
thank you.
amazing message for us, our audience, and whoever synchronistically is going to come across this, whether on our audio streams, on YouTube. This message is for you as well.
And it's just the right time for you to receive it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
Can't believe an hour
Thank
went by
you.
that fast.
That was kind of crazy.
It really just the proof what they say, time flies when you're having fun. This is a very fun conversation.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, there we go.
We got thank you, love, coming in from the comments.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you for everyone else who's watching or listening. We appreciate you. And
Stay magical.